We're on here. Good evening. Welcome to Tuesday, April 26th, 2022 Select Board meeting. I will get it right sooner or later.
Thank you.
Select Board meeting is the selectmen are present here, except for Noah Cobb is on Zoom and Mark was excused. We have the town manager, the town clerk, the town planner, chair of the planning board here. Please stand with me and salute the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next order is the approval of the April 12th minutes.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second the motion?
Motion and a second, any discussion? If not, I'll go through the roll. With Noah,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. First, public comment. Do we have anybody here for public comment? Nope. Everybody's here for official business. It brings us to a public hearing. We have a public hearing, we have two actually. One is the medical marijuana dispensary facility license renewal at 3 Kind Farm Road, Kind Farm Reserve. And the second is the adult use marijuana retail store license at 5 Kind Farm Road, Kind Farm Reserve. As we have representatives from Kind Farms. Step to the podium, give us your name and
Hi. All Venuti.
Paul Venuti.
Yeah.
Is Mr. Manager, we have any complaints or any kind against these facilities?
I am not aware of any complaints, but I could defer to Tammy. She'll be taking over the licensing process, so you'll need to come up
You
to
need to step to the mic. Well, you can sit at, you can sit at the table.
No, that's all right.
We can share.
Yeah. The only concern I have was from an abutter regarding the Route 4 road. Nothing for a violation of any shape, manner, or form for Kind Farms. Their address has been changed, as you noticed.
It did? I
It
did
did.
not notice.
Yes,
Gotcha.
we got it changed.
Thank you.
So instead of being off of Route 236, they are now actually Kind Farm Way. So they'll have to change all their paperwork and provide us copies. But no complaints have been received. It's the speed going down Route 4 that's what the abutter has. And our abutter Pedro is also on the Zoom meeting. So.
Pedro, would you like to address the board at all?
Yeah, sure. So I got the thing in the mail about this hearing, and I was trying to think what it could be about, and I couldn't really come up with anything other than just the road in the intersection there, which has nothing to do with Kind Farms. But that's been an issue for a long time. So just adding a booming business there is only going to make it worse. So yeah, nothing against Kind Farms. I think it's great that they're there, and I think Berwick needs more businesses and everything. But yeah, if we could just do something about the road, that intersection, that would be awesome.
I'll address that a little bit. Is the Route 4 corridor has been an issue for as long as I've been on the board, 8 years now. There's been many fatalities here in the 10 years. And Mark Pendergast and Steve Eldridge and I met with the DOT several years back, and we went through the whole process of the road, the configuration, the speed, and almost every accident there is driver error, driver negligence. So it's not the road itself. And so we addressed it about traffic patrols, things like that. The Berwick police are out there quite often. As I've made several calls to the police, and I've been told that they're out on Route 4 at that time. The state police do patrol it. South Berwick and North Berwick help patrol it. And they put up the speed monitors, and truthfully, the speed isn't excessive through is you look at it and you look at the data and it's, you know, like everywhere else, 5, 10 miles an hour over, but it's not like people are doing 100 miles an hour down there, so. This is an issue that we talked to them about, and the state's idea was that if we wanna do something, is Berwick's more than welcome to spend money on the state road fixing it. Because they weren't gonna do anything because it didn't meet their criteria, so. We recognize that there's a problem with that stretch of road. It's not just Kind Farms. There's more businesses going out there with where we want them. The state DOT did say that, you know, as businesses and residences, you know, expand out there, you know, we will be looking at things like turning lanes and things like that in the future, but I don't see that in the near future, so. I hope that, you know, explains a little bit about that situation, you know, I know people have made comments about, you know, Kind Farms in particular, but it's no difference than the donut shop now down the road, or any of those other places, the cars coming and going all the time. I use the ATM for Northeast Credit Union there, and a lot of times I'll turn north and head up to Wentworth Road and go that way, rather than try to take a left-hand turn on Route 4. So, but other than that, that's just explaining a little bit of Route 4. It's nothing that, you know, Kind Farms and any of the other businesses having any, you know, jurisdiction over. So, we hear your complaint, your concerns, and I can just tell you that we are continuing to look at that. So.
I mean, we definitely recognize that, you know, we brought a little bit more traffic to, you know, the area. And, I mean, I've been talking to James a little bit on and off about, you know, what we could do. And I would even do it with you and revisit, you know, going back to DOT and just, you know, having them try to lessen the speed limit through there or something, you know, or I could just put them in the back of my truck and try to take a right-hand turn off of that into my business when you have somebody on your body and they're beeping at you. And in my opinion, 55 miles an hour is way too much for a commercial zone and a residential zone, so it's both. So, I mean, we would do anything to, you know, go up to the, you know, try to get it changed.
A meeting with our traffic organization, CAX, tomorrow morning about the Route 4 corridor. And it's all about getting it into the pipeline where they have some assistance with planning assistance. So they could fund a study, get concepts done, and then we get in the queue for major capital projects through CAX. So 3, 4, 5 years from now, we can start doing those $1 million projects where we're picking up 10% of the costs. And then in the short term, yeah, I reached out to DOT about a left turning lane at Kind Farms, and you know, they mentioned some cost share programs, and it is a lot of red tape. It feels like to kind of get over that hurdle, but
Yeah,
I'd be happy
completely
to.
naive to the whole process of dealing with them or anything like that. So
Really starts with getting it engineered, but I'd be happy to pick that conversation back up.
Because I know it's like at the Montessori school, when the accident was there, they talked about turning lanes at that time. And they actually did borings along the shoulders and determined that you'd have to.
Get in your hands more than your voice.
I talk with my hands.
Yeah, no, it's tapping on the table that's killing me.
That's the nerves.
The shoulders would have to be rebuilt, you know, to standards, you know, so it is costly, so.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Pedro.
I was just thinking something a little simpler, like, you know, even like a blind turn sign, or like, you know, even like flashing lights, like, you know, something, you know, just to give people a heads up, because it's 55 miles an hour, and like somebody said, people are going a little bit faster, then it's around a corner and up over a slight hill, and then if somebody's turning onto either, you know, one of those roads, I mean, they could be at a complete dead stop, and if somebody's on their phone or something, you know, just this year we've already seen, not just at Kind Farms, but like, you know, down the street on Blackberry, I think total of like 3 accidents already, and it's almost like that every year. So it just seems like that stretch, and then also the dump, transfer station, those 2 areas seem to be extremely dangerous, or by far the most dangerous areas. And, yeah.
Great. Thank you. So back to we'll start with the license renewal for the medical marijuana dispensary. If there is no other questions, look for a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to renew the medical marijuana dispensary facility license at 3 Kind Farm Road.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? If not, I'll go through the roll. Is Noah,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. And then we have adult use storefront retail, adult use marijuana retail storefront license at 5 Cotton Farm Road. So that's your new facility.
Correct.
That's open. Now, I thought that was already open and operating.
Well, what we did was we switched, that we opened it as a medical building, and then when we were able to put another one, we switched it to adult use and opened a new medical building. And just, so that was medical.
So the permit for that building was just, okay.
Yeah. So,
Any questions for him on that one? If not, is looking for a motion?
Yes, so
I
I make,
move,
go ahead, Noah.
I move that we approve the application for the retail recreation marijuana location at 5.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Yeah, I move that we approve that application.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, I'll go through the roll. Is Noah,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. Thank you.
thank you so
We'll
much.
close our public hearings. All right. Reports of committees, we have none. Department reports, we have none. And we have appointments for planning board, alternate member, and for board of appeals. And we're back to the John Lapierre, Matthew Henry, somebody's here and somebody's not here, one. Is Jacob Beach, that's you, he's here for the board of appeals. Okay, we'll take you first.
All right.
You step to the microphone if you would. Just introduce yourself, tell us where you live and why you want to be involved.
So my name is Jacob Beach. I live down on Clement Lane in Berwick. Just like to get more involved in the town and the politics behind it. I'm an engineer at the shipyard. I've been there for 10 years this summer. Mechanical engineering and electrical engineering backgrounds. I also serve on the ADR board there, which is kind of similar to the Board of Appeals, just between disputes between management and employees. I'm like a equal level ground that kind of makes decisions on that, so I thought the Board of Appeals would kind of be an easy way to slide into the town government.
Any questions for Jacob?
No, we appreciate your willingness to volunteer.
Yeah. And how long you been in Berwick?
3 years now.
3 years?
I grew up in Elliott, so just down the
Yeah,
road.
close by.
Yep.
Is yeah. I always, I'm always encouraged when, especially from my perspective, younger, newer people come into town and start volunteering, so I really appreciate, as Linda said, is anybody coming forward and looking to volunteer, we always appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Any other questions for Jacob?
No?
If not, I'll look for a motion to appoint.
I make a motion that we appoint Jacob Beach to the Board of Appeals for a 3-year term.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I like how you got on the Board of Appeals, because that's one that meets the least often, so it's a good way to break into it.
He's trying to go slow, yeah.
Right, good way to break into it, so. All right, I'll go through the roll. Is Noah,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you. So then the alternate board member, we've gone through this, this is the third time. We've given John two opportunities to come down now to another meeting.
Mhm.
How does the board want to move forward with us?
Well, Mr. Henry's here, correct?
Yep.
Step on up. Now, we spoke to you briefly, right? Before, yeah,
Right,
okay.
so, there's, similar story to what Jacob just said. Somebody new in town wants to work with us.
Yep.
Essentially, yeah.
Anything you want to add from your previous?
Unless you have questions, I mean, my letter of intent says a good summary of everything, you know, I'm here to fight the good fight, and, yeah, I might be young, but here I am volunteering.
That's not a detriment in my opinion.
Yeah, I do that. And I promise, no, I can take the verbal abuse from the public. Promise.
All right.
I mean, I think my one comment, Matt, you know, and we see it a lot with the planning board and even us up here is, sometimes it's hard to separate how we feel something should go and still stick to what the land use ordinance says and stick to that. And that's my one comment, is just making sure that regardless of opinion, if appointed to the board, that we, you know, stick to what's there, because that's ultimately what the town says is what we should be doing.
So, I mean, as I told Mike, as he's the chair, you know, first many meetings until I feel comfortable enough, I don't even want to speak much until
Oh, no,
Ask the
don't.
We try that here, but that.
you get what I'm saying, right?
No,
You know,
but I would.
I kind of got to get a lay of the land before I, you know.
I would
like, yo.
actually, I would advise against that, because, because you learn by asking the questions.
Right.
Is if you just sit back and absorb things, is you don't have that interaction. So ask questions.
I took a quick glance at the land use ordinance, just, it was suggested to do. You know, I'll take more, obviously, if appointed, I would take a good study session on it, you know, and learn a few things, yes. About, you know, what I need to know for the planning use, you know, everything that goes with that. That's it.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Looking for a motion to appoint?
I make a motion that we appoint Mr. Matthew Henry to the planning board alternate for a term of 3 years.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. There's, I'll just make one comment that after the June vote, you might not be alternate, right? You'd be a full member.
Correct.
So,
That is it, yes.
right, so, all right, we have a motion and a second. I'll go through the roll. Is Noah,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. Congratulations.
Thank you, I
On
appreciate
board.
it.
Yeah.
And thank you for your patience as we kind of move through that process.
Thank you for my.
And I just want to point out that is Tammy's arranged workshop for board members on Monday, correct?
Correct,
This
6:30.
At 6:30, so there you go, your first initiative.
You got the invite.
I just got the letter.
All right,
I couldn't send it early.
all right. Moving on. Unfinished business, we have nothing that I know of. The town manager's report.
First note, I had a credit enhancement agreement notice in the paper ahead of time to meet certain deadlines. We have some final pieces to negotiate on that, so that'll push things out. Just by the time things have to be noticed in the paper and have to be available online, it'll probably push it back a month or so. So we'll have that re-notice. Just a quick note on that for folks who saw it in the paper. I think this might be my last update on Memorial Field expansion. I've been saying closing date has been coming, and we had a few things. They had to do a title release and a lot of legal work on both parties. We did a title search, and the information came back with no red flags. So the $100,000 purchase through the open space impact fees will be on the warrant for approval for May 10th, and the official closing date is scheduled for May 17th.
Cool.
It's been my project since I've been town manager. We are increasing the water rates, and this is to cover the cost of the bond, depreciation of our assets, and increased costs of operations since our last increase in 2015. The increase to residents is projected to be 10.45%, and that's each quarter. It amounts to, it's roughly $10 increase per quarter. This increase is going to happen over a 2-year period, with the first year being less and the second year being a bigger step. And the smaller step will take effect as of July 1st.
Okay.
And there will be a special town meeting. It's on a special select board meeting. It's May 16th. It's on a Monday. And that was done to meet, we have a specific window where, again, it's noticing in the paper and giving ample time for the special meeting and to have enough window period to have the rates take effect July 1st. There any questions on that?
How much notice has been given out to people about the special meeting and about the rate increase?
Every ratepayer will be sent, by statute has to be noticed by mail.
Okay.
So everyone that gets a water bill will get a notice in the mail, and it'll be posted online, and it'll be posted on.
But it's gonna take effect July 1st. How much notice are you gonna give them? Like, right after this special board meeting?
So the notice we're gonna put it in the paper tomorrow,
Okay.
and then have it. We really need to get working on getting them out in the mail ASAP.
Okay.
I think it's at least 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time, ahead of the meeting, ahead of the hearing.
Okay.
The last piece I have is the request for qualifications. All 3 engineer firms have expressed interest. These are firms that are familiar in some shape or form with our downtown. They've done projects in the town and have shown excellent ability to provide services. So I'd like to extend an invitation to a board member or 2 to be part of the selection process of the design team. We're thinking maybe we have a select board member or 2 and a couple members of the community who have been involved with the downtown project. And this engineer will really help us over the next 3 years and interface with what Great Falls Construction's doing and leverage the $3 million in funding and help us go and get further funding. So they're really going to help us put the pieces together to do the major work that we've been planning for almost a decade now.
Yeah.
I think the only issue is I think some of the meetings might happen during the day, so that might be tough for.
Well, as long as they're in advance,
Sure.
dates in advance.
Sure, I'll reach out tomorrow with more information. That's all I have.
Any questions for James? If not, we'll move on. Selectmen's communication. We have a letter from the York County Commissioners concerning the expenditure of the American Rescue Plan Act funds. I won't read the whole letter. From the commissioners talking about the money given allotted to the county. They received the funding amount, an amount of $40,331,830. They received half of it last June and should receive the second batch this June. The money is very specific at how it can be used. Respond to public health emergency or negative economic impacts, including assistance to households, small business, and nonprofits. Respond to workers performing essential work during the COVID-19 public health emergency by providing premium pay for eligible workers, for provision of government services to the extent of the reduction of revenue due to COVID-19 public health emergency, and to make necessary improvements in water, sewer, or broadband infrastructure. They've been receiving water requests. Proposed projects is about $3.5 million over the $40 million that they have. They've only allotted about 8.1 million, so leaving a balance of 32 million. It says, York County Commissioners intend to continue to evaluate the remaining proposals above specific projects and expend the remaining federal funds in a manner that is consistent with the letter and spirit of the ARPA in the interest of the citizens of York County foremost in mind. If any questions can be submitted in writing or raised at any upcoming meeting of the York County Commissioners. Do we have any money requested from them?
I did not submit
let's get in
anything.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah, for certain next ones. But they are required, just as a little background, they're required to notify all the towns as part of the ARPA process. So that's what that is, just notifying you. They do have those websites on there. So if you're looking for more specific information about where the funds are going, you can click on those links and it will tell you.
I was involved with the York County managers meeting, and there's representatives from the county, and it sounds like the projects and the where the money's going are some pretty impactful investments for York County.
Very good. That's all I had. That brings us to approval of our accounts payable. We have payroll warrant number 63 for April 21st, 2022 for the amount of $71,153.23. We have an accounts payable warrant number 65 for April 26th, 2022 for the amount of $222,950.95. And we have a payroll warrant number 64 for April 28th, 2022 for the amount of $74,722.89. So make a motion, we paid the bills.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, I'll go through the roll. Is Noah?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. All right. That brings us to new business. The paving bid recommendation. It looks like we only got one bid.
We only got one bid, and this is we didn't go out to bid last year for the same reason. There's really only one contractor, and in our purchasing policy, we're allowed, or in their provisions, due to a lack of available contractors. And I think that's probably what I'm going to end up doing in 2023. I'll submit a letter to the select board saying, due to the continued lack of suppliers, which there was a lack of suppliers in 2021, 22. Just making that note ahead of time until there's a new paving company that's arrived on the scene. What ended up happening, Libby Scott provided us a quote January 24th. They actually updated it. It should read for April, but the cost ended up a little bit higher because we went out to bid, but just felt like it had been 2 years. We should see what's out there, but just been consistent. It's pretty much.
The history of the paving bids is 8 years ago we'd get 4 bids, and Pike and Carroll and Libby Scott and those types of bidding. And then over a period of a couple years it came down to that nobody else would bid on it except for Libby Scott. And we tried using a local contractor one year, and that was actually higher than the other bids, and most of his work was subcontracted out to Pike anyways. And so this has been a problem for probably the last 4 years that I know of, is where we've only had the one bid for the paving contract. And, is Mark Pendergast can tell you that, he's familiar with the paving costs and everything, and they're right in line with everybody else. They charge what they get charged from Pike, because Pike is the only supplier in the area. So it's all, you know, conglomerations, so. You feel you need a,
You here for soccer? Yeah. Yeah, in the auditorium. Do you know the auditorium?
The other door?
Yeah, other door.
It's locked. I get it.
so, you know, since we only have one bid, we should still vote to accept the bid, right?
Yes.
So, as,
I'll make a motion that we accept the bid from Libby Scott for the paving, I believe was on Diamond Hill Road.
well, it's a bunch of different roads.
Oh, it's all of them. Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, no, they just gave us a per ton price, you know, on it, so. All right, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Yeah, second.
Any further discussion? If not, I'll go through the roll. Is Noah,
Yes.
Linda,
yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. So then we have a poll petition. These are when people wanna put new houses in and stuff, we have to give permission to, CMP to put them in our right of way. 'Cause I asked the question once, what would happen if we denied it? But I never got an answer. What is,
So he wants to put two
So
poles.
it's 2 polls,
two
correct?
poles, right, yeah. This is, this is the one up on Diamond Hill.
Diamond Hill, yep. Yep, okay.
You know, it looks like it's all in line with everything else they've always shown us, so. Any questions? If not,
I'll make a motion that we approve the request to put a pole 504 on Diamond Hill Road.
I'll second the motion.
have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, I'll go through the roll. Is Noah,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. So now we come to public hearing. Date for the June 14th, 2022 meeting is the town clerk recommends May 24th, 2022. I'm assuming that's one of our regular meeting nights, Patty?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, second one. So,
I'll make a motion to set the public hearing date to May 24th, 2022.
I second the motion.
motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, I'll go through the roll. Is Noah,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. And then we set the polling hours for June 14th, 2022 town meeting election. The town clerk recommends 8 AM to 8 PM.
I make a motion that we set the hours for 8 AM to 8 PM for the June 14th, 2022 election.
Second.
A motion and a second, no further discussion. I'll go through the roll. Is Noah,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. And close customer service on June 14th, 2022. That's because everybody works up the polls.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to close the customer service on June 2022.
I'll second it.
Second.
A motion and a second. I'll go through the roll. With Noah,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. And then now to reschedule the June 14th meeting, Board of Selectmen meeting, because it conflicts with the town election, is, that's typically, we don't have a lot to do at that time, because we're already through all the processes or everything, is, our next meeting would be the second week in July. Does that throw anything in your schedule, Patty, as far as, dates or anything, things to be signed?
Just warrants, you have a meeting June 28th.
No, I was
Oh,
gonna say
that's
we
right.
had the last week off.
Oh,
Yeah.
yep, we do have that one, okay.
Yeah.
In the past, we have scheduled one for the Wednesday after the election,
On June 16th?
Yeah,
15.
15.
Oh, 15th, I'm sorry, yep.
15th, yeah. So-
Totally up to you though. Noah is running uncontested, so, you know, we can swear him back in on the 15th if you'd like to.
Yeah,
No motion?
Sounds fine to me.
So,
If you win.
Well, you know, there could be a very strong write-in ballot.
Yeah.
you could hope. So we could reschedule one for June 15th then?
yes. I make a motion, we reschedule the June 14th BOS meeting to June 15th at the same time, 2022.
I'll second that.
All right, no further discussion, we'll go through the roll. Was Noah,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes,
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. So we have no quick link?
Although,
What was that?
I said thank you for all of
Oh,
those.
okay. All right. We have no quick claim deeds, no abatements, second public comment?
Michael Route 263 Pine Hill Road. I just have like a quick statement. Can we turn the heat down in here? It's been like a month or two where I feel like it's a sweatshop down here every meeting.
I am pretty young. Yeah,
And
Maybe just a couple degrees.
we do that to hurry the meetings on.
Well, yeah. When we had a meeting
That's
that went till
what the
10:30, it was a hot one.
We'll take it under advisement, how's that? We have no executive session, other business and
we
non-exec?
do have an executive session.
We do?
yeah, can we,
Yes,
For
we
it.
do. We talked about it before the meeting.
We did?
We did.
Oh, yeah.
You were here.
is it the discussion of, Patty, do you have that ready, the executive session?
Yeah, it's Title I, subsection 405, 6C.
Is, I'll make a motion, we go into executive session, quote whatever Patty just said there, is we're not taking any votes or anything, right?
Just an update.
Just an update, okay. I have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll make a second.
Is I'll go through the roll, is Noah,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. We have no other business and non-agenda items, so, we'll be going into our executive session and coming out.
Congrats.
Wait,
Closing.
going back for the record, who made the motion?
He did, and then.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure, so I'm sure Patty's probably trying to figure that out too.
Right, no, I made the motion,
Okay, perfect.
so I'll just let them know in there.
Just for the, paperwork tail of it,
I know, I do the same thing. Very catch.